Good afternoon, Cardigan community, Mr. and Mrs. Day, and ninth graders. We gather as a community for the 2022 Baccalaureate and ninth grade recognition to honor our soon departing ninth grade class. This is an exceptional graduating class. They have overcome innumerable challenges, demonstrated our values time and time again. Underclassmen, if you haven't already, please find time to thank these boys and reflect on what they have done for you and our school. This assembly provides a time to prepare for the farewells to come, but also to celebrate the good work that happens each day on and away from the point. This ceremony celebrates the service, scholarship, hard work, and dedication of our ninth graders, our colleagues to be honored, and our departing faculty. As is tradition, we will have a faculty speaker set the tone for the afternoon. And I'm particularly excited to hear what my colleague has prepared for us. She has served as a teacher, a coach, a dorm parent, an advisor, and always pushes boys to be better versions of themselves. Adam Grant, an organizational psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School, shared, "Givers are often sacrificing themselves, but they make their organizations better." No better words could sum up who I'm about to introduce. I am pleased to introduce Miss Lloyd to speak to this class today.
Thank you, Mr. Welsh, and welcome to everybody. Here we are, at the beginning of the end, or as I like to say, the see you soon, because end is far too final, and the impact that you, as the class of 2022, leave on this place and on the hearts of the people in this place does not come to an end. It merely begins in a different way. Perhaps it is better said, welcome to the beginning of the beginning. Yes, by this time next week, our underclassmen will have been or be in the process of departing for their summer vacations. Yes, this will be a day of joy, excitement, and potentially quite a bit of sadness. You will miss the underclassmen who have become your friends over the last years you have spent at Cardigan. Yes, you will be looking at several days of friendly competition, maybe not so friendly competition with your classmates. And yes, you will be subconsciously grappling with what it means to say, see you soon, to a place that hopefully will leave an imprint in your heart, as you have left an imprint on the hearts of those who remain here, wishing you well and saying, see you soon. One of young Pueblo's poems seemed fitting for today. It reads, "It is okay to not have the answer. One of the bravest things you can do is boldly embrace the unknown, accept your fear, and continue to move forward. A clear mission does not always have a clear path." As you begin to leave Cardigan, you may feel like your path is not clear. You may feel your path is full of obstacles, and you may not even be sure you have a path at all. What you do have is the strength of the brotherhood and the family that is standing along the path you are currently walking. You have laid a foundation here at Cardigan that will support you as you move forward. This foundation is built with connections to adults in your community, your teachers, your coaches, your advisors, your dorm parents, the adults that you seek out when you need support, and likely the adults who may seek you out when they know you are having a tough day, just to let you know they are there if you need them. You have connections that as a foundation will be sturdy and strong, regardless of your recognition of your need for them. The friendships you have forged here at Cardigan will be ones you remember for a very long time. Some of these friendships will grow with time. Others will be there when you may need it as you move forward. Some friendships that were not as strong at Cardigan may grow to be some of your best friends, given time and experiences as you leave this place. As an example, one of my best friends to this day, I met in my small independent school. We attended a middle school and ninth grade together. While we do not speak every day, every week, or even every month, Our connection remains because the foundation we laid was and continues to be strong. We have the connection of playing together on sports teams, being the only girls on the co-ed 6th grade soccer team, being captains of our 9th grade teams, spending a summer biking from Seattle to San Francisco. We have wins, losses, challenges, laughters, and tears. This friend and I began as arch enemies because our similarities pitted us against each other. We both loved playing sports. We worked hard and did well in school, and we both had an incredible group of friends going into our 9th grade year. She was in one orbit, and I was in another, until our 9th grade year where many of our friends departed and went to different schools. For the first time, we were in the same class. We realized that fighting against each other didn't move us along the path we were on together, and it was our similarities that ended up bringing us together. It made more sense to work together and walk together side by side. Our paths have diverged from one another, but we still have the foundation, the connection, and the time that we spent together on that path as a moment in time where we were connected and we were accomplishing a common mission. As we left Park, we knew that we were going on different paths, but we knew when we looked back or when we were feeling unsteady, we could reach out and know that our foundation was and still there, or is still there. It took knowing that we had a strong foundation in the place where we were leaving for us to depart on different paths, just as you are now. Know that when you look back at Cardigan, there will be a sturdy foundation of relationships with your teachers, coaches, advisors, dorm parents, and most importantly, your Cardigan brothers. Know that as this time passes, you have been, you are, and you will continue to be what young Pueblo calls an irreplaceable friend. In his words, an irreplaceable friend is someone who highly values your trust, appreciates your honesty, naturally feels like family, still loves you as you change, finds it easy to laugh with you, holds space for you in tough times, supports your happiness and safety, helps you to believe in your self-worth, and inspires you to love and know yourself. It is my hope that as you move through this week and next, that you will take time to reflect on the connections that you have made here, those that are a part of your foundation, those that build you up when you feel like you may crumble. It is my hope that as you walk this path for the last days of your time here on these Cardigan grounds with these irreplaceable friends, you will think about the times that you have had with one another. I hope that you will begin to recognize and be proud of the legacy that you have created and will leave when you jump from the chapel steps, shake hands, give hugs, and more than likely shed tears when you reach your graduation day. Know that Cardigan will be here, wishing you well on your way, remembering you as you are now, not saying goodbye, but saying see you soon. Next up is Mr. Novak with the Dorm Citizenship Awards.
Thank you, Ms. Lloyd. The Dorm Citizenship Award recognizes students who, in the eyes of their fellow residents, have been the most positive, kind, and helpful citizen throughout the year in their respective dorms. Today, we celebrate 12 ninth grade students who have earned this recognition. Just another testament to the impressive character of this class. Now our Dorm Citizenship Award winners. From Banks, Robbie Burns. From Brewster 1, Ethan Roy. From Clark Morgan, Treva Murphy. From Franklin, Mitch Purock. From Fennell, Jacqueline. From Greenwood, Madison Tian. From Hayward 1, Mateo Escalante. From Hayward 2, Seichang Ma. From Hinman 1, Jason Lee. From McCusker 1, Liam Murphy. And from McCusker 2, Leighton Glover.
Next up is Miss Illich with the Art Award.
Good afternoon. Looking back to the fall of 2021, this student shared with me some of his recent work in photography and his interest in this medium. He reached out to the communications department for feedback on his photos and was often asking what he could do to make his images stronger, crisper, and more eye-catching. Throughout the year, you could find him taking photos, whether it was in the art club or on vacation or just around campus and taking pictures of sports teams. This spring, he's had a chance to explore his passion for photography even further in the classroom. It was no surprise to me that when this student entered the Scholastic Art Award contest for the state of New Hampshire, he was awarded 2 Gold Key Awards, 5 Silver Key Awards, and 3 honorable mentions. I have no doubt that he will continue with his passion for photography as he continues on to secondary school. Please keep sharing with us your work. It gives me great pleasure to award the 9th grade art award to Sean Binchu Chin.
Next up is Mr. Franco with the Music Award.
The Music Award is awarded to the student who has first and foremost shown excellence in music class, and second, gone above and beyond his peers in sharing music with the community and using his talents to abide by Cardigan's core values. The recipient of this year's award has been a staple of our program for the past 2 years, during which he has capitalized on every musical opportunity to which he has committed, never faltering in his pursuit of a musical challenge or his commitment to the program. He is among the most reliable members of our string ensemble, and while his absence will be felt next year, he will achieve great things in a secondary school orchestra. His expertise now transcends classical music after having been a stalwart among the string players in his class's performance of September in the winter concert. Both times, this young man's patience and confidence have empowered him to lead by example. We wish him the best in his future musical ventures. This year's recipient of the 9th grade music award is Mr. Jason Lee.
Next up is Mr. Bird with the Woodworking Award.
The Golden Hammer Award is presented once a year to honor a student who embraces the ideals of the woodworking program and who develops a true spirit of craftsmanship for the work he produces. The project often requires sketches and detailed scale drawings. The student must determine what materials are needed and what skills and techniques will be required to assemble all of the components. Sometimes a model or a prototype is required. He then cuts out all the components and assembles them using a variety of gluing, clamping, and fastening techniques. Mistakes are inevitable. The student must figure out ways to overcome obstacles and correct or hide any flaws. New tricks are learned along the way. Several sessions of sanding are followed by staining and painting, finish coating until the final outcome is achieved. It's a long process, but incredibly valuable. Starting with imagining what your project will be when it's done and figuring out all the steps that are required to get there. This year's recipient is a frequent flyer in the woodshop. He's been there on Saturdays, Sundays. He comes in during advisory. He's been there almost as much during this off session as he was when he actually had the class. He's become a master sword builder. He often takes swords that are authentic and replicates them. There's lots of components to it. He's had to come up with all kinds of tricks to make those components come together. Some of those tricks I knew and have been able to share with him, but many of them he's figured out on his own. This year's recipient is Zizi Probstein.
Next up is Mr. Good with the Theater Arts Award.
The Cardigan Mountain Theater program strives to be as inclusive as possible to provide students and community members with the opportunity to experience creating a theatrical event for our community. We ask that you step up voluntarily, show up reliably, give up some of your precious time, and stand up courageously before your peers and compassionately present your best work. This 9th grade class has answered that call admirably, with record numbers appearing in this year's shows demonstrating leadership, courage, and dedication. I admire your passion and sacrifice, and I am grateful and humbled by the participation of the great class of 2022. Today, we recognize one from this class, but not without first thanking and honoring all those who have been part of a performance in their time at Cardigan. This young man from your class has been a stalwart participant in the theater program since his 6th grade year when he was in the ensemble of The Tempest, and has gone on to be in every production since. He has worked his way up through bit parts like being a dwarf, to an understudy before taking on larger roles during our pandemic productions. He earned the reputation of being reliable, enthusiastic, detail-oriented, and eager to improve his craft as an actor. And this fall, he played one of the detectives in Good Cops, Bad Cops, and it was a no-brainer to cast him in the role with the most lines, who appeared in every scene of our last production of How to Overthrow Your Student Government in 7 Easy Steps, because we were confident he would get the job done. We hope he continues his journey as a performer in his next school. He will undoubtedly make that program better with his presence. This year's achievement in drama goes to Mateo Escalante.
Next up is Mr. Frost with the James N. Marion Sportsmanship Award and Athletic Excellence Awards.
We're just doing the Marion today. We'll save the the Excellence Awards for the end of the year sports recognition. Coach Marion worked here at Cardigan Mountain School as the athletic director, a teacher, coach, and mentor to everyone in the community for 47 years. He was the kind of person we hope all of our boys will grow up to be, as he was always looking to help the other fella first. Coach Marion always had a smile on his face, and an encouraging word, a steadfast presence of integrity, work ethic, and dedication to his family, his friends, and the school. The plaque that hangs in the Marion Athletic Center reads, the James N. Marion Sportsmanship Award, awarded to the student athlete in each grade for their enduring athletic sportsmanship, who in the eyes of the entire coaching staff best embodies the true spirit of the Cardigan Mountain School athletic program. The 2002 James N. Marion Sportsmanship Award for the 9th grade goes to Treva Murphy.
Next up is Mr. Novak with the Addison Memorial Prize for Creative Writing.
This particular honor has been awarded since 1962 and is presented to the student who has been identified as the most capable and effective writer in the 9th grade. Over the course of this year, Ms. Fideli, Mr. Novak, and Mr. Wennick enjoyed the honor of teaching some very capable writers as the 9th grade English teachers. Today, Mr. Wennick, Mr. Novak, and Mr. McCusker selected the following student whose portfolio of written work in both poetry and prose has impressed us as the most clear, engaging, and effective use of expository and creative writing over the course of the 2021 to 2022 academic year. What distinguishes this year's recipient from his peers is his respect for the writing process. He proofreads work meticulously and is willing to undergo multiple revisions no matter the time it may entail. This year, he has been exceptional with both analytical and creative writing. He can construct a strong, evidence-based argument, and he also writes with style. His words have purpose, and his prose has a voice. He can persuade and move his audience, and he continues to improve because of his commitment to writing well. For his enthusiasm, creativity, and courage in his writing, it gives me great pleasure in honoring today Matteo Escalante.
Next up is Mr. Capro and Mr. Walsh with the Scholastic Recognition.
The Scholastic Recognition Awards are given to those students who have excelled in an area of study. Teachers from each grade level have the difficult task of narrowing down the list of qualified and deserving students to just one winner per subject. The scholars who are about to be called up earned high marks. However, they're being honored today for their passion, dedication, and commitment to learning. Mr. Capro will read off the winners for each subject.
Thank you, Mr. Welsh. For English, Kevin Kong. For mathematics, Ian McDonald. For history, Rodrigo Carandi. For science, Treva Murphy. For world languages, Hudson Deck. For English as a second language, Inigo Arsuaga. And for Peaks, Sanders Morris.
Next up is Preston Merrick with the Outstanding Underclassmen Award.
This is just going to be pretty quick. It's my honor to announce that this year's recipient of the Outstanding Underclassmen Award is Nate Watson. He's not here today.
Next up is Mr. Leroy with Faculty Recognition.
Thank you, Goose. Good afternoon, everyone. As we near commencement and celebrate the success of our 9th grade class, we also want to recognize the tireless work of a group of faculty who will be departing the point at the end of the academic year. From the start of the year, our faculty have worked tirelessly to serve the boys here in this church, or in this chapel, while also finding balance and well-being during the ongoing pandemic. From doing everything that is asked of our faculty, to covering classes, covering sports, weekend duties, this group of adults has gone above and beyond to create the best experience possible for everyone on this campus. I am proud to say that all of our faculty have stepped up and lived outside their comfort zones daily to make this year a successful year on the point. Please welcome me in saying thank you to every faculty and staff member here at Cardigan. For those faculty members who are departing, I'd like to thank you for your time and effort while you were here. You have made connections with the boys and adults, making our community a better place. Those faculty members that are departing are Mr. Stevens, Mr. Castillo, Miss Hamilton, Mr. Salamone, Mrs. Perricone, and Mr. Travis Nevins. Please join me in thanking this group for their service to our students. Also, It's a Cardigan tradition to recognize the community members who have reached the admirable milestone of 15 years of service. This year, we celebrate that milestone with two current members of our community, Mr. Chip Audette, our Director of Missions, and Mr. Ryan Frost, our Director of Athletics. Each of these members of our community will receive a Cardigan Chair for their 15 years of service at the conclusion of the academic year. First, I'd like to call Mr. Day to speak in recognition of Mr. Audette. Mr. Audette, come right up here, sit in your chair.
We'll get you a new one. Good afternoon. Let me begin by saying how important it is to recognize the members of our faculty and staff who have served at Cardigan for extended periods of time, in many cases longer than any of you have been alive. They are the members of our community who understand why we do what we do, who bring the wisdom of ideas attempted, who can bring generations of Cardigan adults and students together in important and in difficult times, and whose stories can inspire us and keep us entertained for hours. Today, we honor two members of our community who are all that and more, Mr. Chip Audette and Mr. Ryan Frost. While you will shortly hear a tribute regarding Mr. Frost, I wanted to speak briefly about Mr. Audette. Mr. Audette came to Cardigan as our Director of Admissions in 2007, a challenging time for the school. This was before many major facilities projects had been started, and we didn't visually compare well to schools like Eaglebrook. There was no Wallach, Commons, or McCusker dormitory, and our facilities at Clark Morgan and Hayward had not yet been renovated. Cardigan's enrollment at that time hovered around 175 students, and there were concerns about the long-term financial sustainability of the school. Mr. Audette worked with a team of committed people to take on these many challenges, strengthening enrollment while helping to plan our strategic way forward to where we are today. I'm grateful for Mr. Audette's leadership and his continuing belief that despite all of the work that's been done to our facility, it is the strength and closeness of our community that is our biggest selling point to families and students. I see that belief every time Mr. Audette and I sit down to talk about where we are in forming next year's student body. It's wonderful to see him talk about candidates coming through the door in Clark Morgan. He tells me about their YouTube videos and all the things that they do in their hometown and in their communities. For Mr. Audette, bringing together a new student body every year is not only his job, but a calling that he really loves. Which leads me to my final point. Sometimes it's hard to see an individual's impact on you, your friends, or on your community. Look around you. Think about the people who are sitting here next to you. Your roommate, your dorm mates, teammates, and classmates. These people are here because of the work that our admissions team does, a team led by Mr. Audette. He believed in you too, enough to offer you a spot in this school, and for that, I'm grateful and appreciative, and I hope you are too. Please join me in giving Mr. Audette a round of applause for his work to make Cardigan what it is today, and with his help, what it will be tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Audette. Thank you, Mr. Day. Next up, I'd like to call Ms. Fidelli to speak in recognition of Mr. Frost.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so grateful that I get this opportunity to speak on Coach Frost's behalf and to recognize and thank him for his 15 years of exceptional service to Cardigan Mountain School. When I think of a person that models the core values with consistency and conviction, I think of Mr. Frost. His integrity is unquestionable. You never have to ask whether Mr. Frost is going to hold you accountable for an expectation. You know Mr. Frost is going to do the right thing. You know Mr. Frost is going to reach out when you need help. You know Mr. Frost is going to say thank you. And no matter what it is you're relying on Mr. Frost for, you know Mr. Frost is going to get it done. His work ethic is something I admire tremendously, and it inspires me to be a better person. For every student athlete out in this crowd and all those who have graduated, being a part of Cardigan athletics means something special because of Coach Frost's extraordinary level of thoughtfulness, time, and care. There are so many ways that Coach Frost shapes the Cardigan way through the athletic department. I think a big reason why our athletic department rivals any prep school in the country is because he intentionally and laboriously makes us consider the past and how we are a part of something bigger than ourselves. Most of the way in which you see Coach Marion, Coach Frost's predecessor, commemorated today in plaques and signs and scoreboards and wall paintings and t-shirts is because of Coach Frost. He honors the past and he respects those who have gone before him to the same degree that he is passionate about the present and the future. Take a look at the walls of any athletic facility and you will see a legacy. There are pictures of alumni in college jerseys, team photos of every sport in every season, bulletin boards that feature alumni. Coach Frost is deliberate and intentional about honoring the students, coaches, and people that have walked these halls and contributed to the Cardigan tradition. I am personally so impressed not only with the thoughtfulness of creating walls of photos commemorating alumni, but also with the labor. There's lots of people that have an idea to do something, but rarely do we see that task to completion. Coach Frost is a doer, and because of his good deeds, we all feel like we are a part of a tradition that we can then become a part of. Coach Frost has that ethos in everything he does. And like I said, he doesn't just honor the past, he has a vision for the future. He's constantly creating, developing, and embracing the new with the old. I can't possibly list all of his contributions, but there's a short list that I put together just to be thinking about some of the ways that he has enhanced the Cardigan athletics. He's added 2 new sports to our program, mountain biking and core. We now have 4 teams of mountain biking. He's added the Captain's Council. He was a big part of the renovation of the athletic facilities and the furnishings of the Wakely Center and the Wakely Fitness Center and multi-use room. Our new modern lockers and expansion of the locker rooms in Marion are accredited to him. 6 new sailboats in our fleet. Like I said before, the commissioning of the Marion scoreboard and the Marion lobby commemorating Coach James Marion. All of the championship banners that you see in the gym and in the rink. All of the live streams, not only the technology, but then making sure that every single level of every sport that's played in Marion Gym and Turner Arena are recorded and uploaded. And that's something too that I like to point out about Mr. Frost is that he's passionate about every level, whether it's something that you're trying for the first time and you're a beginner to the sport, or if you're passionate and you're trying to play the sport at the highest level, he's going to make sure that he is dedicated to individuals and their pursuit of excellence. New uniforms are constantly being updated and on a fair rotation. Special uniforms for Eaglebrook Day, Spirit t-shirts. Mr. Frost created the athletics logo, the Cougar C, along with our motto, be the best. And like I said, his contributions can't really be contained into a list. For you students, after you graduate from here, you will know that Coach Frost is the person you will want to call when the bottom falls out. And when you're going through your worst moment. And he's also the person that you will want to call when you have achieved an important goal. Because he knows, you know how much he cares. Mr. Frost is a true athlete, and a true competitor. Watching Coach Frost on the sidelines, lots of people always wonder how he doesn't lose his voice. I always think and I always say I would have thrived under a coach like Coach Frost. He gives you the same energy when he is correcting you as when he is praising you. Our lacrosse players never have to wonder if he cares and if he notices. There's no question Mr. Frost wants to compete, wants to win, and is fired up about every minute of every game. You boys are lucky. Passion like that is not something you will find everywhere, even at the high school and collegiate level. It is a steal to have Mr. Frost coaching at Cardigan. Treasure that. And most importantly, what comes first with Mr. Frost and what he cares so much about is who you are becoming as a person. A lot of what Mr. Frost is trying to do through our incredible and elite athletic program is to show each student how to be a good citizen through the vehicle of athletics. Character always comes first with Mr. Frost, and the man you are becoming is more important to him than the goals you score. When I asked some members of the community for some thoughts about Mr. Frost, here's just a short list of what some of our colleagues said. He will support his colleagues in times of need. If a colleague is having difficulty, he will support them to the hilt. As a friend, if you ask him for anything, he will do it. He'll do anything for his friends. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and you know where he stands. He cares. He cares deeply about the students, his coaches and staff, the athletics program, and the school. He goes above and beyond. He is always looking for ways to improve himself, the athletics program, and the school. He's always present. Dining hall, meals, all school events, meetings, social events, athletics, weekends. He is there and ready to lend a hand. He goes above and beyond to honor Coach Marion, Dudley Clark, Norman Bev Wakely, and other Cardigan icons. He holds the bar high for himself, his athletics team, and all the coaches. And when you are at Cardigan, you take it for granted and sometimes can be critical of it, but when you leave it, you miss it, big time. Mr. Frost has always been extremely faithful and trustworthy as a colleague and a friend. I could and can always count on his discretion. Coach Frost can be an intimidating guy when you first meet him, but over time, when you get to spend years working alongside him, you quickly learn that he is an extremely thoughtful, kind, caring, trustworthy, and compassionate colleague and friend. Mr. Frost, I can't thank you enough for all of the ways that you have sustained, upheld, and shaped this school, the athletic program, and most importantly, the character of every Cardigan student you've coached, taught, and mentored over the last 15 years. It's impossible to know the influence your influence in helping boys live responsible and meaningful lives. I personally have been deeply impacted by your steadfast character and your self-sacrificing kindness. You inspire me to be more, to do more, and to hold a higher standard for myself and others. Thank you for serving us so humbly and with such excellence in deed and character for 15 years. You are an incredible leader, and Cardigan is blessed to have you. We love you.
Next up, I will present the Blaze Dedication. Every year, the Blaze Dedication recognizes a faculty member who has devoted a tremendous amount of time and hard work for the growth and happiness of the boys here at Cardigan Mountain School. It honors a faculty member who is believed to have shown exemplary dedication and involvement in our community, and the graduating students select the recipient. We, as a community, are very grateful for all the things this teacher has done. The class of 2022 would like to dedicate this year's blaze to Mr. Capra. We're all grateful for his service to the Cardigan. We're all grateful for his service to the Cardigan community over the past 17 years, sharing his passion for supporting the academic growth of young men with countless boys over his time. As there are a few things that Mr. Capra does not know on this campus due to his exceptional sliding skills. Keeping this award a secret has required a degree of stealth not often seen on campus. Over his time at Cardigan, Mr. Capra has coached, led and developed the PEAKS department, taught and generally helped all of us by doing countless seen and unseen tasks, and rarely, if ever, saying no. His willingness to help is unmatched, and his efforts to support learning at Cardigan are something that we all look up to. One of his students said it best. Mr. Capra is super nice, and he always tries to help people. Congratulations, Mr. Capra. Next up is Mr. Franco with the Cardigan hymn. Next up is Ms. Borg with the benediction.
Please join me now in prayer, silent reflection. Loving and faithful God, we thank you for this singular year. We are as grateful for the adversity we faced as for the joy, for the sharp as well as the sweet. Thank you for the growth we have seen in our students, our athletes, and our friends. Bless these boys in their final days together here on the Point. Bless our new student leaders and give them wisdom for the path ahead. May we look back on this time together with profound gratitude for the gift that it has been. Amen.
Congratulations to the 9th grade students for all of your accomplishments this year. We hope you enjoyed the ceremony. You are now dismissed to afternoon activities.